I'm San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg. I am a Trinity University alum, and I want you to know about my passion for these two vibrant communities. My alma mater is now a nationally recognized liberal arts university, offering fully integrated arts, humanities, STEM, and professional programs. Grounded in the liberal arts, Trinity graduates students who think critically, act meaningfully, and contribute confidently throughout their careers. As for San Antonio, Trinity is an oasis in the heart of a city that serves as a cultural bridge to the Americas. We are a diverse community that values inclusion and welcomes intellectual curiosity and spirited debate. We're a city that challenges convention and welcomes new ideas. Great things are happening at Trinity University, in San Antonio, and through all our connections to our multicultural world. Join me in being part of this exciting moment.
From Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania to Tacoma, Washington, we've got the entire country represented today on Tiger Network, and it'll start with the men's side, Geneva against Southwestern, who are ready to tip, and we are off from San Antonio. Geneva winning the tip and getting things going in this Leslie Robinson Christmas Classic, hosted by Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. I'm Brian Yanselson. Thrilled to be here with you today as the Golden Tornadoes work the ball around during their first possession. Spotting up from mid-range, no good, is Lyle Tipton. And you will see him shooting the ball plenty today. But that first one just off for number 33. And here come the Southwestern Pirates. First shot from three, off the rim, no good for Leo Toussaint, the senior from College Station, Texas. Still in the first minute of action here. Neither team on the board. Will that change? A three from the corner. Rolls off the top. And the Pirates headed the other way, moving quickly. Swinging the ball over to the junior, Sam Lacey. He's trying to work the ball around, gets it right back, and now surveying his options, sends Hester moving around. Shot clock under 10 now. Pirates looking to get a shot up. It'll be Toussaint again from three. This time he's good. Foul on the shot. That rattled out for the other Tipton, Trevor Tipton. He'll head to the line for 3 free throws. The sophomore from Glenside, Pennsylvania, and brother of Lyle Tipton. Sure, we have plenty of folks tuning in from Geneva and Southwestern as that first free throw taps out. So Geneva fans probably very familiar with the 2 sets of brothers that are in this starting lineup. Not something you see every day. Tipton hitting his second free throw. Got to talk with Coach Jeff Santercero earlier this week, and he is willing to bet that no other team has 2 sets of brothers in the starting lineup. Hard to fact check that, but I'm going to go ahead and trust him on it. And Geneva gets their first 2 points. Hester driving left into the lane, a spin move, and it'll be called for a travel, which he cannot believe. So the ball belongs to the Golden Tornadoes of Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Nice defense underneath, but Tipton finds some space, puts it up. And it'll be called a jump ball. The ball belongs to Southwestern. Lots of movement on offense results in a look for Hester. He gets it back to Hatcher and now posting up, but a foul going to be called before he can. Brock Luchtefeld, the sophomore from the Woodlands, Texas, was looking to post up. There goes the post up for Luchtefeld. Loses possession of the ball for a second, but then handles it, puts a shot up, grabs his own miss, now goes right back up, can't get it on the second try. So he got the looks he wanted, but couldn't finish. Isaac Massey, the point guard, gets it to the older Tipton brother, and now a step back 3 on the way, no good. That was Ryan Raychick. Here comes Luchtefeld again, thought about posting up instead, gets it to Lacey, who will set things up for Southwestern. Hester steps back, 3, good. Southwestern finding success from distance early on. They lead 6-2 with just about 3 minutes gone here in San Antonio. A good non-conference battle here between Geneva and Southwestern. Massey decides to go up with a three, rattles out, and the rebound belongs to the Pirates. They're feeling good about their start, trying to go quickly. It is a drive taken away by Tipton. Ball ends up back in the hands of Hester. Slow to get up there is Hatcher, and there'll be timeout called by the referee to give him an opportunity to recover. Took a hard hit to the face, already wearing a guard that came off there with the contact. And you see him grabbing it there. So he'll head to the bench. A couple of substitutions made for both sides. Southwestern maintaining possession of the ball here. Josh Jones has it. Swung over to Hester, who drives in, puts it up and in. Couple buckets in a row for number 5, Jacob Hester, the junior from Leander, Texas. And the Pirates up 8-2 as we approach our first media timeout after the next stoppage. Lyle Tipton thought about putting it up from deep. Instead drives, has 2 defenders on him, and his jump shot's going to be short. The Pirates playing good defense on one of the best scorers in Division III. Now a three-pointer for the Pirates, just out, but a great rebound. The second chance again doesn't fall, but the Pirates doing well to get another opportunity, and now the ball taken away. Ball is everywhere here on the court. Hester down low, and finally a finish for Zach Black. And a timeout going to be called by Geneva. And Coach Santarcero is not happy with his effort from his squad. In fact, it is so quiet in here at CalGuard Gym during this neutral game that you can hear him vocally expressing his feelings to his players as he gathers them for a timeout. But a great start for the Southwestern Pirates coming into town from Georgetown, Texas, a very familiar team here on Tiger Network in Trinity's conference, the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. It has been a tough start for Southwestern so far this year, 3-7 on the year. But they are looking good in this first frame. 6 of their losses have been by double digits as well, and just 2 of their wins have been by 5 points or less. So it's been a little bit of a slow start for Coach Kuykendall and his Pirates. But they are looking to turn things around against a Geneva College team that has been on fire to start the year. They come into town 8-1 on the year out of the President's Athletic Conference. On the complete other end of the spectrum, 6 of the Golden Tornadoes wins have been by double digits, and their only loss came in a close game that came during the middle of a 3-game in 6-day stretch. So Coach Santarcero saying they were a bit tired, understands that loss during a tough stretch of games, but he has been happy with how this team has come together and blended. They've got some new faces. They've got some experienced veterans as well. And they're going to have to come back from a 10-2 deficit in the first 4 minutes. Newly in the game is Jonathan Berdovich. He gets it over. The 3 is no good for Massey. And a loose ball foul called on the rebound attempt. The ball will go to the baseline. Berdovich gets it in, but a moving screen going to be called on Geneva. Pirates currently on a 7-0 run. Chris Smith Jr. has it. Almost hopped with the ball there, but able to maintain possession. He gets it right back. Shot clock at 10. No problem for Lacey, who takes it. Thought he drew contact. Instead, the Golden Tornadoes coming the other way. It'll be Trevor Tipton back to Massey to set things up. Now Lyle from deep and is good. Lyle Tipton, the older Tipton brother, averaging nearly 28 points a game. That is the second best mark in all of Division III. Coming right back the other way. Left of the rim there was Hannah. And maybe that 3 for Tipton will get the Golden Tornadoes going. The younger Tipton brother patiently waiting underneath 3 defenders. That 3 went in, but before he got it off, Tipton had his foot on the sideline. So count it for Southwestern getting possession of the ball. Mentioned the gym for this neutral matchup. Pretty empty right now, but we are now going to see the Trinity men's basketball team head into the stands. As the officials talk with the scorers table, figuring something out. Normally cannot hear from up in the press box, but again, not many people here, so can hear pretty well. And then hear the referee explaining that it is Southwestern ball. Hannah drives, great drop off, but again can't finish. Another offensive board though, and count it for Zach Black. He has been battling there for the offensive boards. That's 2 for him now. He's had a couple of good looks. Wasn't able to finish on the first go-around, but you see him dealing with 2 Geneva defenders and then a third trying to come from behind. But number 1 gets 2, and we'll try to get 3 here at the free throw line. And he does. Lead back up to 8 for Southwestern. And now Southwestern employing a little bit of a full court press. Tornadoes able to get it across. Losing the dribble there, having to give it up, was Trey Barker. Raychick gets it over to his brother. Jump ball. Great defense being played right now by Southwestern. That's a couple of jump balls forced. The ball will stay with Geneva. Bringing it in is the younger Raychick brother, Mark. Gets it to Lyle Tipton. He spots up from the top of the key, way off, gets his own miss, and who will it be? Geneva. So you can see Lyle Tipton not afraid to shoot the ball. And why would you be when you average 28 points a game? Here he is again, taking it himself into the paint, backs up. It'll bounce off. And it'll belong to Southwestern. Here come the Pirates in fast break. Hatcher back in the game now. Pirates reset. Trying to get it to Black. Black underneath. Patient pass. Great swinging of the basketball right now for Southwestern. Can they finish? Black underneath. Yes, he can. The movement of the basketball is fluid right now for Southwestern. They are getting what they want. Can Geneva respond? That basket will not count. An offensive foul called off the ball. And the momentum squarely with the black and gold of Southwestern. Full starting unit back in for Geneva. And that is what they typically have out there. In their previous game, they defeated Waynesburg 71-55, and they got just 2 points from their bench. They really rely on their starting unit. Some more discussions here near the scorers table. Ball back into play, brought up by Josh Jones, the senior from Austin, Texas. We've seen again and again the inside seal for Southwestern, and it keeps working. This time it is Brock Luchtefeld. We've seen Black do it, and now Luchtefeld just getting that inside position in the paint and plenty of space to complete the basket. And what is going on for Geneva? Another call out of bounds on the sideline. That is the second time that Tipton has had his foot on the line, giving the ball right back to Southwestern. So this is not the start Geneva was hoping for as they travel down from Pennsylvania. A team with a very storied past, an NAIA program now newly into Division III as of this decade. Looking to come down to Texas and get a couple of victories in this Christmas Classic. Transition opportunity, offensive foul going to be called on Mark Rachik. And just about every call that you can imagine going against Geneva. Timeout called here on the floor. Under 12 media timeout. Southwestern on another 7-0 run. We'll take a quick break on Tiger Network and be right back with you. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Still very early on, but we are seeing a story unlike what these two teams have experienced so far this season. Geneva turning the ball over already 7 times. They turn it over just 10 times per game. That is the 19th best mark in the entire country. But they are giving the ball up early. Hester finds a man in the corner, wide open for 3. Off on the 3, but there to collect the board is Shabi Enakpene, the first year from Midland, Texas. First we've seen of him as Coach Kuykendall goes to his bench. And everyone contributing right now for the Pirates. They are playing aggressive defense. They are moving the ball. And another turnover for Geneva. This time a travel for the older Rachik brother, Ryan. So they are nearly at their season average of turnovers in just the first 10 minutes of the game. Lacey finds the cutting man in the paint. Wide open was Luchtefeld. 0 resistance there. These Tornadoes have to be shell-shocked here. Coming down to Texas. Ball stripped away, but a foul going to be called on Hester. Mentioning those 8 turnovers for Geneva, very unlike them. Meanwhile, for Southwestern, just 1 turnover. And unfortunately for them, that is also very unlike them when you look at what their season has been. They turn the ball over nearly 20 times per game. Only 19 of 413 teams that play Division III basketball have more turnovers. But they are finding a way to hold on to the ball today. And they're going to have to beat this team that came in 8-1. Riding lots of momentum. But it's looking good early for the Pirates. Nice spin move down the baseline. Ball ends up in the hands of Hatchett. Hatchett drives. Battle for the board, won by Geneva. That has been another story so far. The offensive rebounds going the way of Southwestern, 5 for them, just 2 for the Golden Tornadoes. Massey has it. Trevor Tipton trying to make something happen, loses the dribble. Raychick bails him out. Ball will be off Black and belong to Geneva. In comes Preston Hanna, checking in for Anakpane. Starting unit out there for Geneva, along with Jonathan Bertovich. Same play as before the inbound, and this time it works out better for Ryan Raychick. First points of the game for him. The second leading scorer on this Golden Tornado squad. That'll be a travel. You could hear the squeaking from here. Peyton Triplett now in the game for Geneva. Ryan Raychick will send it in, and Southwestern going back to this little full court pressure that they've shown, them backing off of it. Under the 10-minute mark in San Antonio, Southwestern up by 12. Trevor Tipton has it. Shot clock under 15 now. Looking for help. Finds Bertovich in the corner. Reach-in foul going to be called. Was a good close out there by Hanna to get to Bertovich in the corner. Raychick underneath. Nice patience. But the underneath attempt falls short. The ball not remaining in the hands of any one Pirate for very long. They are moving the ball very quickly. Black takes the foul. But before that, a travel going to be called. He looks surprised by that call. So a couple of turnovers in the last couple of possessions for Southwestern. They have not scored in 2 minutes now, but they are still up by 12. Geneva trying to get going. You're starting to see a little more rhythm for this Geneva offense, but the three-pointer still no good. But more of that flow that they are hoping to have throughout the game. They're a team that scores 78 points per game. Lacey utilizing two different screens, now hands it off to Hanna. Hanna charging, spinning. Tough shot there. Loose ball foul going to be called on Geneva, it looks like. As Black tried to go up for the rebound, he was hung on to. Aiden Rorick trying to check in. Teammates reminding him to tuck his shirt in. Here comes Hanna. Nice step back for Hanna. Unable to complete it, however. But he is one of their go-to options off the bench in transition. The three is off for Geneva. And the Pirates coming right back at them, going quickly. Trying to set up the post three around him. Had some open guys. Couldn't find them. Instead, goes up himself and misses the layup. Black is getting the looks down there. He just hasn't been able to seal the deal. And as we reach the under 8 mark here in San Antonio, both teams will head to their benches for the media timeout. We'll take the break with them and be back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Brian Yanselson here, now joined by the amazing Josh Muchigemba, finally back on a broadcast together. Welcome back, Josh.
Thanks, Brian. Done a great job here the first 12 minutes or so, and so has Southwestern, a team that knows Calgary Gym very well. They played quite a few games here the last couple of years, and they took advantage of the familiarity and got a lot of good shooting percentage shots and holding Geneva with some good defense so far.
Yeah, Geneva been very quiet offensively. Maybe that'll help get them going. Isaac Massey, the senior from Cross Lanes, West Virginia. The only non-brother part of the starting lineup for Geneva. And as Coach Santorcero said, he has played with them now for a year, gotten used to their camaraderie. He gets a nice bucket there, going the other way. Hook shot, bounces out for Black. Geneva has cut the deficit to 10. Southwestern going on a dry spell. So the Golden Tornadoes trying to climb their way back in it. It is tipped in from the paint. Rebound will be collected by Geneva. Now a 6-0 run for Geneva, a team that has started shooting 19% from the field, just 3 for 16. But despite that, they are down just 10. And you might hear just 10, but it really could be a whole lot worse if Southwestern maintained their hot start. Massey will check it in for the Tornadoes. Berdovich gets it to Trevor Tipton, now right back to Massey. Lyle Tipton thought about it and hold on the shoulder going to be called against Southwestern, so another trip to the line. Geneva already in the bonus in the 1-and-1. The beloved 1-and-1.
Geneva 4 of 5 here early on from the stripe, so opportunity maybe to cut this lead down just a little bit more. That last foul coming against Hatcher. And now 5 of 6. So, fortunate to have gone to the line as many times as they have. Now trailing 9, now 8. The majority of their points coming from the foul line.
Southwestern really wanting to respond here. Their lead down to single digits. Pirates continue to swing the ball around. Shot clock down to 10. And a travel going to be called on Black. That'll be the second time that he has traveled when trying to post up down there. And you can see the attention Geneva is giving him. That is Southwestern's leading scorer. Over 10 points a game so far this year, and every time he catches the ball, immediately 2 defenders on him.
Yeah, and Geneva's defense really clamping down the last 5 minutes or so. They've held Southwestern off the board, no points, neither from the field or from the foul line, and so an opportunity, because that lead was almost looking devastating. It was 21-5. So an 8-0 run here for the Golden Tornadoes, and now if that counts, a 10-0 run and a chance for Tipton to cut in even further. Looking at this game on paper, having not really seen either team prior to today, you kind of looked at it and you're like, oh, maybe Geneva, with a stronger record would run away with it. So really impressed with Southwestern's fight. They're 1-3 already in SCAC play, and obviously the Golden Tornadoes off to an 8-1 start, 5-1 though in President's Athletic Conference play, and maybe you're starting to see a little bit of how good the conferences are. Don't know if Geneva's really played any of the top tier teams, what they would consider to be the top tier teams in their conference, but Southwestern, with those 3 losses in conference, losing to Centenary and losing to St. Thomas in their last 2 games out, those are 2 really tough teams. St. Thomas getting recognition in the D3hoops.com poll this year, and Trinity, the home team here and the team that we're familiar with, losing in the same regard on one of their last trips out, getting beat by both of those teams. So, the early records maybe not an indication of how good these teams are, as Southwestern scoring their first points here in over 5 minutes.
I think you're absolutely right about especially Centenary and St. Thomas. It was head coach Jimmy Smith for Trinity in our conversation ahead of this week saying that he doesn't think many teams are going to go unscathed when they have to take that trip east to Houston and Shreveport. Now, Southwestern did lose at home to both of those teams, but those are just 2 squads that are very, very talented and should be atop the conference this year. A very deep SCAC that is putting up a fight, but Geneva fighting right back and now down just 4 after the 3 from Massey.
Yeah, 7 points for Massey. Now we've got a really competitive game back in our hands.
Hannah cutting into the paint and another travel. Telling you folks, you can hear the squeaking from up here. That's the second time now that it is clear and obvious thanks to the sound of the sneakers.
Yeah, just cutting really hard, trying to stop and make that turn. Having his foot just kind of roll as he was hoping that he would come to a dead stop. Mentioned the turnovers early on. Geneva cutting down on those a little bit here, and the foul going to be called. As Geneva will head back to the line. A lot of the turnovers that Southwestern are making, though, unforced.
A couple of first turnovers for Geneva, also unforced. Remember, the foot on the
Stepping
line
out of
for
bounds
Tipton.
Yeah, things that both teams can look at during the halftime break here coming up in a few minutes and maybe just say, like, hey, we're making some mental mistakes and we can start to fix those. And I would expect to see us have a little bit more of a scoring second half. This one's been pretty low after Southwestern started off really hot.
That free throw strong for Tipton, collected by Luchtefeld. Underneath 5 minutes here in San Antonio, Southwestern 23, Geneva 20. As the Pirates have gone cold. Finds Hannah in the corner. Can Hannah put it down? No, he has been off from 3 thus far. And a great move to get the ball across for Tipton. Needs some help, but will be fouled by Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey did a really good job right up until the end, and Tipton was probably going to travel, and he just kind of left his knee just out there just enough to create that contact. I feel like always tough on players because they're trying to make the right plays, and they sometimes just go a little bit too far, just that one extra step that they probably didn't need to make defensively. And send Tipton back to the line. And fortunate to get a miss out of Tipton here, as he was 4 of 5 coming in.
The older Tipton brother, a 72% shooter from the free throw line. Gets the second one to go. So the lead down to 2 for Southwestern. Movement from Hannah off of the screen, finds Hatchett, who can't really grab it. Now stuck in the corner. Tough spot for him, and it'll be a travel. And you could see it from the start there. The first year just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, Southwestern probably not wanting to burn a timeout, but when you're trapped down in the corner with really no options, might have been a good time to take one.
Massey calling for the screen, utilizes it. Now to Tipton. He can drive left, he can drive right, but a great block by Inakpene to swat it away and give Geneva the ball out of bounds.
Huge defensive play there for Inakpene. Southwestern just 2 points in the last 7 minutes here. They're going to need to get maybe the offense started with a little bit of defense, but for Geneva, you see stats on the board there. That field goal percentage was way down under 10% as we started this game, and now coming alive. They've been doing strong at the free throw line. A couple of looks at the last few scoring plays here, and it's pretty much going to be all Geneva and pretty much all Tipton, as one might expect, looking at the fact that you mentioned one of the top scorers in the entire NCAA.
Yeah, and Coach Santercero is saying what makes Lyle Tipton so special is how hard he's worked throughout his time at Geneva to really elevate his game. Said he was a great high school player, a really natural talent, but he has had to work at the college level to adjust to his opponents, adjust to the pace of play, and said that one of the biggest things he's seen is, you can see it, he is willing to take the ball himself, willing to put up the shot, but Coach saying he's willing to also share the ball and utilize his teammates. And early on, we've seen him contribute not only with those 10 points, but he has 5 rebounds, 3 of which have been on the offensive side. And so helping his team in more ways than one. Yep.
And even though he's only shooting 2 of 9 here to start, he's 5 of 7 from the line. So, field goal's not falling, but he's finding a way to get himself onto the board and keep points going for the Golden Tornadoes. And Southwestern had done a really good job of bottling him up early on, but it looks like maybe he's starting to find his rhythm.
Yeah, you can't imagine he'll be held down for too much longer. Shot clock down to 2. Massey puts up the prayer, and it's answered. Massey is on fire to start this one. Now a couple from distance, and Geneva has taken their first lead since very early on. Luctefield trying to respond. He'll draw the foul. So maybe it'll slow things down for the Pirates, but a great job by Massey there.
Yeah, what a way to take your first lead of the game. Just, not much you could do defensively for Southwestern. You felt like you were playing great defense. He was 4 feet, 5 feet beyond the arc, and just had a really good look at it. And a little Steph Curry action, knocking down the long 3. And big free throws here for the Pirates. 4 of 4 on the day at the line. Last couple of points have all come from the line. In fact, their last 4, so they're still without a field goal since the 11-minute mark.
They go back to this full court press, but then they've backed off of it once the ball is thrown in. So just trying to give Geneva a different look. Double screen set up for Massey. He goes left. Great find in the corner. Can he hit it? No, he can't. Board fought for and won by Hatcher. Pirates going the other way. Great drive. Offensive foul. No, a block. Some movement there at the end by Trey Barker, the freshman from Apex, North Carolina. Thought there may have been a walk before the contact, but they're going to call the blocking foul. And it'll be the sophomore from the Woodlands heading to the line. First one's good. Couple changes now on the way. Bertovich back in for Geneva. Toussaint in the starting lineup, back in for Southwestern. Both free throws good for number 22. And the Pirate lead back up to 3. With 3 minutes to go in the first half from the Alamo City. It has been Massey and Lyle Tipton for Geneva. The two of them combining for 20 of the 24 points. It is Tipton again robbed in the corner by Jones. Tries to push it ahead to Enakpene. Enakpene right to the bucket. Board by Luchtefeld, and he completes it. So the energy swinging back a little bit towards the Pirates.
Yeah, first field goal made for Southwestern in almost 8 minutes.
They've done well when they go quickly. Jones again pushing it ahead. Hannah Luchtefeld had a moment there where he was open. Now facing resistance, can't finish it off the glass. Good defense there by Rorick.
Yeah, Southwestern's defense leading to offensive chances. Maybe Luchtefeld slowed it down just a bit too much. If he takes his drop step, he probably has a wide open layup on that last possession.
Brother-to-brother connection not working there. The younger Tipton just off on the three. And this is the pace I think we expected a little more of. Hannah in the paint. Nice stop. And gets it to go. There is Preston Hannah. The All-SCAC honorable mention from a year ago coming off the bench today.
Yeah, finally on the board with his first bucket. Missed his first four. And saw a nice little drive. Hit his mark pretty hard. Nice little turnaround jumper. Southwestern, after that lull that they had, maybe looking a little bit more in control. And turnover here for the Golden Tornadoes as this last 3 minutes is shifted back towards Southwestern's advantage.
Yeah, Berdovich right there trying to mimic the exact same move Hannah was able to complete. But the freshman from East Palestine, Ohio, walked in the process, so the ball belongs to Southwestern. And they can get their lead back up to double digits on this possession. Toussaint has it. Now Hannah looking for some help. Jones swings it to Enakpene from three. Off and the board, won by Echo.
Yeah, great job by Echo there. Had a little bit of a disadvantage on the glass with Black, but able to clear him out, and an opportunity here for Geneva. If they can keep this lead somewhere around 3 or 4 as we head to the break, they should be pretty happy with that.
Rejected by Black. As Jones a little slow to get up. Get some help from his teammate. Might be checking out here as Hatcher comes back in. But Jones has been a spark plug so far. Only 2 points, but he has seemed to be there in the backcourt, moving the ball ahead for his offense. Great finish for Tipton there. Bench wanted an and-one opportunity. And now a timeout on the way for Southwestern, utilizing it before the half expires. So just 25 seconds left. Southwestern holding on to a 5-point lead as we get ready to head to the half, but both teams seeming to find their offense now in the last few minutes.
Yeah, and both teams, I think, starting to feel comfortable, not both offensively, but the defense has started to look better. You know, it's hard to say that sometimes when you say, like, oh, both teams offensively are doing better, but I also feel like there's a lot more movement around for both teams defensively. I think it's just really good offense here the last 3 or 4 minutes that we've seen. As we get a couple of looks at the last few. There's that big, almost 30-foot three-pointer to put Geneva ahead for the first time, and then a nice job by Southwestern as they went back and forth a little bit, but holding now to a 5-point lead.
And you have to wonder what that 10-day break did for Geneva. They last played on December 10th. And so as they've traveled, gotten down here to Texas, long flight, maybe a little rusty to get going in San Antonio, but they've found their footing. But Southwestern, on the other hand, doing a nice job taking the counter punch and responding as well, still holding on to the lead, and they should be able to have the last shot in the half if they want it. It's Enakpene with the ball, the first year. He charges right, now finds Toussaint open from the top of the key. Short, but a foul going to be earned by Southwestern as the effort continues to be there on the offensive glass. But what a job by Enakpene there. You can't really ask for a better shot for Toussaint, just unable to connect.
So Geneva getting a game warning here for delay. As Black heads to the line. Yeah, Toussaint, looking back at what he's done here the last few years, he's been a perfect role player at times for Southwestern, coming up big, knocking down huge shots against Trinity in the past. He said perfectly. He had a great look at the top of the key, just came up a little bit short on it. But, talk about Black and what he's done both defensively but offensively, grabbing those boards, giving them another chance. I believe that last foul was called on Tipton, so that could be something down the rest of the game that could help Southwestern as well. But nice little 5-point lead as they head to the break.
Yeah, but a tough break for Southwestern, unable to connect on either of their free throws there. Black could have extended the lead to 6 or 7, but both of those rimmed out. So the lead will be 5 as we take a 15-minute halftime break on Tiger Network. It'll be a good one, so don't go anywhere. We'll have it for you right here in San Antonio. Welcome back to Tiger Network for the second half between the Southwestern Pirates and the Geneva Golden Tornadoes. It is a 31-26 lead for Southwestern, who jumped out in front by double digits, and they were looking to maybe run away with this one, but the Tornadoes have blown their way back into it and cut the deficit to just 5 before the half. Their starting unit that sees so much of the action will be the same to start things out. We'll take a look at Southwestern. It looks to be the exact same as well. Although something to note for Geneva, Mark Rachik, the sophomore from Prince Frederick, Maryland, exited the game early on after a Geneva timeout. And now he is back in there. Didn't see a whole lot of action in the first half, but after the locker room adjustments, might see more time with his older brother as well. The drop-off will not work, and it's a turnover to start things off. And here is the younger brother who gets it off to the other younger brother, and they connect. So I have to say, as the youngest of 4, the younger brothers are the better ones, and they are showing some might there on the 3. If you missed early on at the top of the game, explaining that the Geneva Golden Tornadoes have 2 sets of brothers in the starting lineup, as they force another Southwestern turnover here, but it is Mark and Ryan Rachik, and it is Lyle and Trevor Tipton. And they are joined by Isaac Massey to round out the starting lineup. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, Josh. Have you ever seen 2 sets of brothers on the same team, yet let alone in the starting lineup?
Yeah, not at the college level or higher, right? I mean, I think sometimes you'll see it maybe a high school with, I've seen triplets on the floor, or not necessarily triplets, but 3 brothers on the floor at the same time in a high school game. But yeah, it is pretty unique to have 2 sets of brothers, especially because if you think about it, if they're not twins, you've got to really marry that up just right, because, as they go through their different years, it's going to be a little bit of a, perfect timing scenario.
And it hasn't always been that all 4 of them were here, as the younger Tipton brother again gets a good look and gets it to go. It's a tie ball game here in San Antonio, as Trevor Tipton has come out of the half on a roll.
Yeah, really, and speaking of roll, really nice soft roll there for that one to fall in. Took what Southwestern gave him, and kind of had to fade back a little bit on his little jumper. It's hard to call that a jumper. It's like a half layup, half jumper, and did a really nice job with it.
Toussaint from the corner connects with the 3. Much needed bucket there for the Pirates. And Mark Rachik will bring up the ball. His brother Ryan transferred from Gannon University before last season. And so both Rachiks weren't always here, but Coach Santercero able to convince the older brother to transfer, and then did recruit the younger brother. And here is the older Rachik brother getting a trip to the line and asking Coach, what is it like to have 2 sets of brothers on the team? And he says, they've played each other their entire lives, whether it's pickup, just in the backyard, in AAU, or select teams, and they know each other better than anyone. And so it has really brought a nice camaraderie for the team. And Rachik gets the first one to go, but then adding that Massey has learned to almost be like another brother to them, because he got to play with them all of last year, and the starting lineup has pretty much transitioned into this 2022 campaign. And you see it for this offense that is an explosive one. 4 Golden Tornadoes averaging double digits, and they are looking good out of the halftime break, down just 1 now, and a travel going to be called. Sometimes you say it's hard to see a travel. I compare it to kind of a double in volleyball. You have to really be looking, but then sometimes they just jump out at you. And today I've seen the clearest travels I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I'd say most of the time when we see a travel call, it's really that opposite foot being picked up. And so it's really hard for somebody just watching the movement of the player, not seeing that, it's, a difference in what foot was the plant foot. But, this one's more of your traditional rolling, walking, extra steps. Nice pass there. And, trying to establish the plant foots, that we normally see called.
And Geneva takes the lead with the 3-point bucket by Rachik, recovering from an epic block by Hatcher. But Geneva got another look, and they took advantage of it. 2-point lead now for the Golden Tornadoes.
Another thing to touch on when you talk about the brothers playing together, it's one of those things where we talk about, like, it's unique because the timing has to be right. But then when you think about that a step further, as a college basketball team tries to come together, you start looking at some of the teams that have really excelled and some of the teams that, are at the, championship levels year after year. And sometimes it's a situation where, the program itself is so good that, the younger guys come in as freshmen and they play well together and they've got a little bit of chemistry going. And they're maybe not on the floor for, their freshman year. But collectively, those guys are working out together for 4 years. And by the time they become seniors, then they've really been together for 4 years and excelled. When you bring together groups of brothers or, even if you've, like, recruited from the same high schools, kind of going to the well over and over, you have those years of chemistry and experience together that, especially as the games get tough and close and tight, that guys almost instinctively know where everybody's going to be or, what to expect. And it's just such a big added benefit to, what a team can do. And, I think part of the reason why we see Geneva off to an 8-1 start, just because, early on in the year, guys are still trying to get used to each other. I mean, you might see them coming up and, calling each other, working out together over the summertime. But knowing that you've got the ability to kind of go, just to a guy that had 15 years of experience, me knowing that he's going to be down in the corner there, if I kick this ball out, I don't even have to think that he's actually there. I just know that he's going to be. Small things like that. And, some games are won or lost by 1 or 2 turnovers in a game, and it just makes a huge difference.
Yeah, really that intangible sense of knowing where the other guy is going to be, knowing what you have to do, being in the right spot, so much of what basketball is about. And it's the under-16 media timeout here as the teams are tied at 36, both coaches talking to their squads, trying to finish a good opening match to the Leslie Robinson Christmas Classic. Two teams that came into the tournament really going in opposite directions, but they've met up here and have been a good battle between Pirates and the Golden Tornadoes. Southwestern 3-7 on the year out of the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. They went 9-17 last year. We got to see them here in San Antonio, of course, against Trinity. But it's still a program that is evolving under head coach Connor Kuykendall, who has seen really great success in this conference, just on a different side. He was the head coach for Schreiner, and he took them to places they had never been before. The Mountaineers going to their first NCAA tournament appearance back in 2017. Coach Kuykendall winning 2 consecutive Coach of the Year awards, and he was the coach right after our very own Jimmy Smith was the head coach at Schreiner. So really the roots go deep in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference, especially on the men's basketball side.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm sure Schreiner doesn't want to be known as the developmental school for the rest of the conference coaches, but they've found great success with some of their coaching and really developed a really nice program over there, and a team that, you kind of look at and you say, like, as we look beyond, as we look at Southwestern here and Trinity and St. Thomas, Centenary, Texas Lutheran, I think there's, right now I think St. Thomas has kind of established himself as maybe the favorite for the conference. And then after that, I think you've got 5 or 6 teams that, if they can have everything come together, they can, easily compete with that and kind of maybe battle for the 2 seed. And once you get to the tournament, maybe work your way into a playoff spot by winning the conference tournament and rebuild your team.
And that conference tournament will be right here in CalGuard Gym at the end of February. Pirates hoping to be there for it. Playing good defense. It'll be a long 3 from Massey. Short. Rebound fought for and won by Hanna. Here he goes the other way. He's got a man open in the corner, but the pass gets off a little bit, so Hester has to reset. Pirates on top by 2 after a nice look by Black on the previous possession. The ball taken away. Massey 1 against 2. Patiently waits for it and earns the foul. Nice job by him to not rush the opportunity, and he'll head to the line for 2.
Yeah, nice job to draw the contact. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a purposeful layup there to finish that off, but you'll take what you can get here at the foul line, but you got to knock down these free throws at the same time. So his shooting's been just a little bit off. He nailed that big shot to give Geneva their first lead from about 30 feet out, but his previous three-point attempt about 2 possessions ago was a little short. Layup was a little short, and then the free throw was a bit long. So maybe just trying to find, we've kind of gotten to the point where the legs might be getting away for some of these guys, and they've got to rely back on the fundamentals of shooting to make sure that they're knocking down their shots late in the game.
And speaking of getting away, that pass really getting away from Zach Black, trying to find the cutting man on the baseline, but it'll be a turnover. So make it 11 giveaways now for Southwestern, exactly the same amount as Geneva. You might remember in the first half that was very lopsided in the favor of Southwestern, holding on to the ball well, but they turned it over just under 20 times per game. One of the worst marks in the nation, really responsible for their 3-7 start. So they're going to have to secure the ball if they want to pull off what could be considered an upset if you look at the record. So we shall see what they can do. It'll be Triplet from beyond the arc, freshly off the bench, misses with it, but the battle won there for the rebound by Raychik. And Geneva will get another shot at it. This time, Tipton will get the 3. Haven't heard from Lyle Tipton in a while, but he reminds us he is here and present as Geneva takes the lead right back from Southwestern.
Now leading all scorers with 15. He's 2 of 3 from downtown.
But some excellent finds on the last couple of possessions that Black has been able to get it. His point guard's doing a nice job finding him on the pick and rolls. Number 1, Zach Black, the roll part of the pick and roll.
Yeah, you and I talked about it a little bit at halftime that Southwestern jumped out to a 21-5 lead. Obviously, the poor shooting of Geneva led to that, whether or not it was defensive oriented or whether or not it was just Geneva trying to get used to the gym here. As you take a look around, it could be a little disorienting if you haven't been in here before as a shooter. But one of the things that we noticed offensively was that Geneva really didn't have an answer for anything down low. And Black was having a really good start to the game, as was Lichtenfield. So, Geneva's kind of solved that. So Southwestern can figure out how to run the ball back through the low block and make that more effective, where I feel like they've got a little bit of an advantage as Geneva feels to be more of a perimeter team at this moment, then I think they'll be in pretty good shape. An interesting call there. You usually get that arm extension to be called as a player control foul, but this one will go as a block.
Yeah, one of those toss-up calls that could really go either way. Hannah thought he had gotten the charge. But instead, Geneva will get to send it in from the baseline.
Yep, and got a second monitor here that gives me a quick look at it. And I think it was the right call, as Hannah had slid over just late. And I think that the opportunity for Geneva to have the right to that spot was already there for them. So I think it was a good call.
Golden Tornadoes, however, unable to capitalize on the foul as they give it to Southwestern. Older Raychik brother checks back in. And Hannah will be the inbounder.
Yeah, now Geneva with 2 scorers out on the floor. For a moment there, it was only Tipton that had any points at all for this game, and he had 15, and everybody else had yet to score for Geneva. Now with Raychik coming back in, he's got 7 as well for the Golden Tornadoes. So.
Great finish for Tipton, and one opportunity coming up for number 33. And Geneva really stepping up their defensive intensity. You had just highlighted, Josh, how the focus has to be on Zach Black. And on the pick and roll that Lacey set up, the dribbler wasn't really given attention. The double team came for the roller, preventing the pass to be able to get to him. And so then the Southwestern Pirates had to adjust a little bit, weren't able to get a shot to go. And then Geneva building off of that defense with their strong Tipton offense. We'll see what they can draw up now. Here is the same pick and roll concept. It ends up with Inakbene. He drives strong to the basket and gets it to go. So that's what you want to see if you're Coach Kuykendall when that first option isn't working. Take it strong to the hoop.
And two fantastic drives here, back-to-back possessions for each offense. Tipton going all the way in, drawing contact, and then putting up a strong shot as he got close to the rim. And then Nakpane with a very similar yet different type of approach. Very nice. We talked about maybe the legs are getting a little bit tired, so some of the jump shots might not be falling, but it's been really good to see some of these guys driving hard and actually finishing at the rim while drawing contact.
Stoppage here after the free throw, and Nakpane completing the three-point play.
Looking up at the shot clock, but I don't know if that's the issue or if there's something else.
They do seem to be looking at the clock.
They're going to carry on. I don't know if it was all the clocks are the same. We did have a little bit of issue with the clock yesterday before the women's game. It seems to be working just fine. So I don't know if it was just not moving for a second or if it just was out of line and then they got it reconnected correctly. But
no shot. Foul on the floor as Massey was driving to the bucket. Push going to be called on Southwestern. Believe they're saying that was number 13, Luke Hatcher. And he'll check out in favor of Toussaint. Tie ball game here at 43, 12:40 to go.
Toussaint 2 of 6 from downtown, so he enters in with 6 points. I mentioned he's one of those guys that, he might not score a bunch every game, but if you can get him going, it could be a really big boost for Southwestern's offense, especially as it adds a perimeter element to what they could do down low. And speaking of down low, Tipton working his way down there and drawing contact, so he'll go back to the line. 6 of 8 so far today at the free throw line and 18 points, leading all scores. Right about where we'd expect him to be. Is somebody, pretty much hitting that 18, 20, 24-point mark on a consistent basis this year.
What's really impressive about his play so far is he doesn't settle for the long jump shot. He's willing to take a long three, don't get me wrong, but he's really driven to the basket, drawn contact, and resulted in those many free throw attempts like you mentioned. And so it shows that he doesn't just take a shot to take it, he wants to make it a quality one. Looked like a travel, and it is. Geneva bench caught it, and the officials eventually got there as well, so the ball given right back to Geneva. They have a 1-point lead as we approach the under 12 media timeout at the next stoppage. And now a zone defense for Southwestern. Now back to man, so maybe just showing that to give Geneva some fits. It'll be a 3 from Tipton. It is good. Lyle Tipton, his third from three-point range.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with the zone here from Southwestern, but I also feel like it needs to probably be like a zone +1 where you've got to keep somebody on Tipton. You can't have a good look at the three. He's now 3 or 4 from downtown. And, he's a natural scorer, a great shooter, and you can't just leave him open on a zone transition.
And there he goes again, earning more free throws as he is starting to take over this game, as he so often tends to do. He is up to 22 points, leading all scorers in this game. He averages 28, and so he seems to be well on his way to getting that average, and perhaps much more. So Geneva with the lead, up by 4, and they'll get a couple of free throws after this timeout. We'll take a quick break on Tiger Network and be back with you. The Golden Tornadoes have hit their last 3 shots from the field. And out of this timeout, it'll be Lyle Tipton with a couple of free throw attempts. Number 33, the senior from Glenside, Pennsylvania, was the player of the year in the President's Athletic Conference a year ago. Averaged 25 points a game last season, which was 5th best in Division III. His first free throw rattles out. So he struggled a bit from the line on his last couple of trips, but you get the sense that he's starting to take over this game.
Yeah, he's made his last 6 field goals here in this contest and a couple of threes in that mix, but he misses 2 here at the line, so that'll be huge and a break for Southwestern. It's easy for me to talk about something up here and not being down on the floor, but if I were Southwestern, I would almost do everything I could to force somebody else from Geneva to try to beat me in these last 11 minutes and see what you could do to, like, at least, put a body on him at every point. But what you don't want to do is let somebody who's averaging 28 points a game get to the point where they feel like they're about to score their 28 points per game and be that type of player. You want to kind of shut them down. And I'd say, 6 for his last 6 from the field, he's really gotten to that point.
First free throw good here for Toussaint. And I think that's a very valid point for sure, but I do think that Coach Santorcero for Geneva has understood that teams will try to take away Tipton, and he's been very happy that there are 4 guys in double digits for the Golden Tornadoes when it comes to scoring, and asked him about that, saying, how nice is it to know that you can have multiple options to score? And he said that his mantra has always been, and he's been coaching for over 30 years now, is that if you have one guy averaging 35, 40 points, you're probably not going to win a game. You have to have a collection of guys contribute, and that's what's been the winning formula for Geneva, and you have one of those right there. Ryan Rachik, he's averaging just over 14.5 per game. And so Geneva is not just a one-pony show. They have lots of options, and you're starting to see them in this second half.
Yeah, Rachik's come alive now at 9. Didn't have a whole lot of minutes in the first half. And so Southwestern doing a good job getting back to the line. And I look up, I see it's a 4-point game. I'd say it doesn't feel like it. Feels like Geneva has a lot more of the momentum, but Southwestern doing a good job getting to the line at times, knocking down their free throws. And going back, they're only 2 misses of the game from the line. They're now 13 of 15. The only 2 were right before the half when Black took 2 with 0.6 on the clock. Fantastic day at the stripe here for the Pirates.
And it continues as Jacob Hester hits both of his. He's up to 7 points, been very efficient, 2 for 3 from the field, knocks down those free throws. And like you said, Southwestern right there with Geneva, just down 2. Rachik trying to get right back to his spot. His brother gets the rebound now. The older brother gets it back. Tie up down low. And Rachik maintains it. Shot clock down to 14. Deep shot for Tipton, way off, and it'll go to Southwestern.
Fantastic defensive effort here for Southwestern. You obviously love to have gotten the defensive rebound after Rachik missed his shot, but again, maybe forcing some of these other guys. Yes, they're scoring in double figures, and they average 14 a game, but that slight difference between somebody who's averaging 14 a game and what they're feeling towards the end of a game as opposed to somebody who averages double that. I'd rather force the other guys to kind of take control down the stretch if possible.
And taking control of these last couple of possessions has been Jacob Hester. Number 5, the junior from Leander, Texas, Cedar Park High School product. He is the second leading scorer on the Southwestern team, right behind Zach Black, averaging just over 10 points per game. And if he connects on both of these, he'll be reaching his average, but that first one out. So Southwestern now 14 of 17 from the line, and despite their tough start to the season, one thing they do very, very well is get to the free throw line. They have the 21st most free throw attempts in the country, but both of these go off for Jacob Hester, and he is frustrated with himself. Had an opportunity to tie things up at 49. Instead, it'll be Geneva basketball with the lead. So a missed opportunity for Southwestern, and Hester fighting for it back. You can see trying to earn more of that momentum. He must be upset that he missed those free throws. Good to see him wanting to get right back into it.
Two fantastic hustle plays there. Jones almost pulled the jump ball. He was stepped out of bounds when he made contact with it, so that Geneva got the possession off of that. And then Hester coming in and knocking the inbounds pass all the way back.
A little bit of full court pressure and then backs off as they have all game. Looks like they're sticking to the man defense. Showed zone just on really one possession, and it led to a tipped-in three, so maybe they quickly corrected after that. Raychick thought about from distance, now finds the younger Tipton brother, and he connects from the corner. Trevor Tipton, haven't heard much from him since the first half, but he gets a big one to extend the lead to 5.
Yeah, we saw Southwestern in the first half with a play that had unbelievable ball movement, and now both teams really looking good with their movement, passing it around, waiting till that guy pops open, and then both teams having guys ready to shoot the ball from 3, and a couple of fantastic possessions. We expected the second half to maybe be a little bit more back and forth like it has been, and this has been fantastic here with 9 to go.
Yeah, this is some fun basketball here in San Antonio. Glad to have it for you on Tiger Network. We'll have a week full of basketball. Already had a great matchup last night. Trinity women's basketball ranked now number 3 in the country. An update last night. Defeated another top 15 team in Mary Hardin Baylor. Mary Hardin Baylor will be right back in action tonight at 6 p.m. They'll face Puget Sound for another ranked matchup. We have nothing but good quality basketball here on Tiger Network. And then tomorrow, Tiger fans will be very, very happy to have both of their teams on the court. The men will play this Geneva team at 2 p.m. And then right after that, it'll be Trinity women's basketball against Puget Sound. But we're not done yet with that, because there's just even more basketball as part of this Christmas Classic. Southwestern will face Wisconsin Stevens Point tomorrow in the evening. And then on Thursday, it'll wrap up with Stevens Point against Trinity on the men's side. So a ton of good action on the hardwood. The first few games we got, Josh, on Tiger Network were still in the middle of football season, so everyone was kind of distracted with that long football playoff run, but now fully immersing ourselves in basketball season, and couldn't ask for a better Christmas Classic start than this Geneva Southwestern matchup.
Yeah, they're two teams that look like they're excited to be back playing. You know, you talked about it earlier where, 10 days now for Geneva since they've been on the hardwood, and I'm sure both of these teams went through not only not having games, but having finals, taking their exams, going through the process of being student athletes. And now, once you get to this break period, you've got a couple of days to just sit back and, as a player, I'm sure they're really enjoying the idea of, I get to focus on basketball a little bit.
Trevor Tipton moving with the ball a little too soon. And I'm starting to become a referee up here, Josh, because the travels keep on coming. I know they had to travel a long way from Pennsylvania, but I don't think they wanted to keep traveling on the court. And it gives Southwestern the chance to tie or take the lead with just over 8 minutes. Lacey looking for some help. Hester, who has been aggressive here in this period with the ball, knocked away a little bit, gets it to Inakpene. It'll be Lacey with 10 on the clock. And now Hester has to make something happen. 4-3, jump shot off, but the board for Luchtefield. Contact will send him to the line.
And again, Southwestern's advantage in this game is down low. It at least feels like. So everything they can do to grab offensive rebounds, kind of go back up with it, maybe continue taking this to the line as Jim goes pretty quiet here. We can feel the frustration here for Geneva as they feel like maybe the original foul call should have gone against Southwestern. And then on the flip side of that, they get called for the foul to send Luchtefield to the line.
Luchtefield with 5 offensive rebounds today. Been a monster on the glass, really cleaning things up for the Pirates, and he hits 1 of 2 free throws, so the lead still belongs to Geneva, but the Pirates threatening to take over, and a turnover here. Will it be basketball belonging to Geneva? Nearly a takeaway for the Pirates, but the intensity is there, and it'll be the under 8 media timeout with Geneva up just 1. But we'll stick around because I want to talk about how fun it is to have teams that we're not used to seeing in San Antonio. And if you've heard Tiger Network all year, and you know very well, Josh, how much I love mascots. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to guess you've got a pretty fun story about how one of these two teams got their mascot name.
I've got a great story about the Golden Tornadoes, but I'm not going to give it away that easily because I just talked about how we have a week full of basketball here. So how disappointing would it be to have such a good story given away in the very first game? And so Trinity plays Geneva tomorrow afternoon. And so if you want to find out why the Golden Tornadoes belong to Geneva, you'll have to tune into Tiger Network. How's that for a tease?
Fair enough. But we can't talk about the Pirates because Geneva has relationship to the Pirates.
They do.
They do.
Just about 30 miles north of Pittsburgh is Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. So it must be weird for these Geneva players to be playing against Pirates, as I assume many of them have to be Pittsburgh Pirates fans.
I would imagine. I mean, there's a lot of pro baseball up around, that area, but I can't imagine too many of them would, prefer the Guardians or the Reds. Probably not the Reds at all, considering, you're just north of Pittsburgh. So, and then I wouldn't imagine too many Philly fans, being cross-state. So my guess would be a lot of Pirate fans. And then for those wondering, the Pirates, actually, the baseball team, coached by a former Trinity assistant coach, definitely takes the whole Pittsburgh Pirates theme to heart with some of their uniforms. So they kind of look fantastic at times and reminiscent of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So always enjoyable to see, what uniforms those guys are going to be wearing. And then, for those that are Pirates fans, they relate to that and enjoy it.
It's always fun to see Southwestern in town. It seems like no matter the sport, no matter the competition, they always bring the fight to San Antonio. And when the Tigers go up to Georgetown, the same is reciprocated. But today in this neutral matchup on Tiger Network, it has been very fun to see the Pirates and the Golden Tornadoes. And it's Luke Hatcher who will head to the free throw line. Both teams entering the bonus, and Hatcher hits the first of the 1-and-1, so he'll get a second shot. The first year from Houston, Texas, ties things up. And he has a chance to give the Pirates the lead. They held on to that lead almost the entirety of the first half and gets it right back for Southwestern.
And his first 2 points, putting the Pirates in the lead. Just the 6th lead change of this contest. I imagine we're going to have quite a few more here in the final 7 minutes.
And both teams going to have to hit their free throws as they are both in the bonus. So keep an eye on that. And Tipton says, I'll take another trip there.
It'll be interesting to see who they call this on. It doesn't look like maybe it was called on Lacey. No, it wasn't. It was called on Hester. I thought Lacey had played excellent defense there for a moment, but they're going to get Hester with the foul. A 3-point play opportunity here. And once again, we talk about it just when a guy is a natural scorer, you're going to find him going back to the line, especially late in games, and completing 3-point plays.
He does complete the one there. And Geneva up by 2 once again. Lacey, great find to Luchtefeld, who was all alone in the paint. And the offenses are clicking for Geneva and Southwestern. What we expected to see. Now under 7 to go in San Antonio. Massey trying to find Tipton. And the battle down low between Hannah and Trevor Tipton will result in a foul away from the ball. That'll go against Hannah, but as we mentioned, both teams in the bonus, so even though that happened away from the ball, it'll be a trip to the line for Trevor Tipton. Coming off a 14-point performance against Waynesburg, he now is in double digits with 10 here today. Got some playing time a year ago for Geneva, but now firmly in the starting rotation. His first free throw bounces out. Geneva now 15 of 23 from the line. It looks like the Wisconsin Stevens Point Pointers have entered the gym to watch the end of this one. Hopefully they'll enjoy it as much as we have so far. Geneva up 1. Hester directing traffic. Backs out a little bit, gets it over to Lacey. Hannah uses a luck-to-filled screen. Open is Lacey. Chooses to not go with the 3. Drives and hits. But the basket will not count. What?
I know they wanted that one to be an
finish.
and one, but that was on the floor. But a fantastic effort there from Lacey. As we'll take another look at it. The foul occurred 2 steps before he put that shot up.
So Lacey will try to get on the board for the first time. But he's done a lot with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And you got to see it there from Lacey, and I really noticed it when Enakpene had his drive that we were impressed with that resulted in 2 points. Now, I'm guilty of watching a lot of New Orleans Pelicans basketball, and I love how Antonio Daniels, the color commentator for the Pelicans, describes needing someone other than Zion to drive downhill and attack the basket. And we saw it from Enakpene, and we just saw it from Lacey really going towards the rim, forcing the action, and getting a couple of free throw attempts.
And bringing the game back level at 56. And Lacey with that free throw, he's on the board. So the stats say that everybody for Southwestern that's played more than 2 minutes has scored in this game for the Pirates.
Very balanced effort, and they're looking to finish it out in these final 6 minutes. A tie ball game.
Conversely, Geneva only has 4 players that have scored at all. So
It's what they're used to.
big difference in philosophies.
Hannah grabs the board. Will he take it all the way? Decides to back it out and set up the half-court offense. Hannah has been quiet, but he could be someone that is key down the stretch. Toussaint over to Hester from deep. Hester hits it! And the Pirates take a 3-point lead thanks to Jacob Hester. Now the leading scorer for the Pirates, and he has come alive in this second half.
Reminiscent of Massey's shot earlier to give Geneva their first lead. Both from about 28 to 30 feet out.
That's going to be a push off of Hester. Triplet trying to get the board, but he clearly shoved number 5 down. And even though it's way on the other end of the court, the Pirates will shoot free throws.
Should still be 1-1. Southwestern not yet to the double bonus. They will be on their next trip down. So and that'll put both teams in the double bonus for the rest of the game at that point. Basically what I'm saying is that it's good that the women's game starts at 6 tonight and not right after this one, because there would be a lot of waiting, as I feel like we're probably going to have quite a bit of time before this one is concluded here. Final 5 minutes on the clock. Wouldn't be surprised if it takes about 30 minutes for us to finish up.
Second free throw out for Hester after making the first one, so the lead is 4 for Southwestern. But I think you're absolutely right. These 5 minutes might go very slowly if these teams keep fouling and heading to the charity stripe. Massey sets up top of the key. Good look for him. Board, easy finish for number 12, Aiden Rorick. He becomes the 5th Golden Tornado to score.
Yeah, Black fell down top of the key area and couldn't quite get there, and it led to an easy rebound and putback for Geneva.
Hester tried to go to the glass, can't bank it in. And Geneva going quickly the other way, and it'll be Jonathan Berdovich, who also has not scored yet today, will get a chance to enter the box score. So just as you said, only 4 Golden Tornadoes have scored. They listened to you and said, well, we want to get in on the action. And Berdovich will try to do so here. The freshman from East Palestine, Ohio, gets the free throw to go, and that's his first point since December 3rd against Franciscan. And in that game, he scored 16 points, so he's certainly capable of putting points on the board. but had gone scoreless in his previous 2 games. But now hitting a key free throw can tie things up with this second one, but unable to do so. Board goes to Hatcher, and Josh Jones will slow things down, get it across the timeline, and work the offense.
Hatcher now leading the Pirates in rebounds with 7.
Black all alone, one-on-one, and you see why they've doubled him, because one defender is nowhere near enough for the Pirates' leading scorer. You have to imagine his eyes were wide open when he said, "Oh, I finally have just one defender on me. Let me take it to the bucket." And he certainly did.
Yeah, now into double figures with 11. 4 of 9 from the floor and 3 of 5 from the stripe.
Too strong on the free throw, so both teams leaving some points on the board. The lead is 3 for Southwestern. Lyle Tipton, no good on the layup. And he went down hard on that attempt. He's grabbing his knee. And they'll take a look at him as he continues to show he's in pain now, pointing to his ankle as the training staff takes a look at him. So we'll take a break on Tiger Network, the Under 4 Media timeout anyway as well. But don't go anywhere. We have a good finish on tap.
And welcome back. And just off screen, fortunate to see Tipton walking off under his own power, and you saw in those replays, looked like he rolled his ankle maybe off of stepping on the shoe of Anakpane as he was finishing his move to the basket. So he'll depart, but was a good sign. He was able to walk off completely on his own, and I know momentarily Geneva fans holding their breath as their leading scorer down on the floor for a moment, but hopefully it's just something that get it taped up and be able to walk around a little bit more on it and then feel some comfort to it again without it being too much of an issue for him. Is the replay didn't look very good, and I was surprised to see him get up and walk off, so that's a great sign.
Agreed. It looked like a pretty bad turn of the ankle, but I guess basketball players are just so used to it by now that they recover quickly. A whistle here as Southwestern brings the ball up. Teams looking to the bench. It'll be Josh Jones, the senior, to bring it in. Peyton Triplett will check in for Ryan Raychick.
And that's a good move as Raychick has 4 fouls, so you don't want to lose him down the stretch.
Black has 3 defenders around him.
Travel. No, offensive foul, yeah. I think it could have been called for a travel as well, as he was moving around down there, kind of reestablishing his position a little bit and kind of bouncing off of the Geneva players. And he was well within the semicircle, so. Not terribly surprised to see that go as a player control.
Massey taking his time, bringing the ball up. Bertovich still in the game, so is Rorick and Triplett. So only 2 starters in the game currently for Geneva. Black falls down. Bertovich has a look inside, kind of flings it up there and won't go. And so this is a key point in the game. Can Southwestern take advantage of the Geneva starting unit mostly on the bench? And Nakpane gets it to Black. Black, no good on the hook. And a foul going to be called on Hatcher. Going to say he pushed his fellow Tornado, trying to get the rebound. And so we'll walk it all the way across the court and head to the line. Massey quickly got into double digits Had that prayer of a 3 as the shot clock expired in the first half, but hasn't seen a ton of success in the second half. Able to hit that first free throw, up to 12 points now, 3 for 8 from the field. Also adding 5 rebounds and 2 assists. And now the starting unit will be back out there. And with the likes of Lyle Tipton, good to see him back out there after rolling his ankle.
Yeah, you see it's taped up on the right ankle, but able to run in there, and good sign so far.
Massey hits both free throws, and Geneva is within 1. Hester will check in for Hannah. So both teams' main scoring options on the court. With 3 minutes to go, Southwestern 62, Geneva 61. The battle of the SCAC against the pack. Who will get it? Jones for 3, gets it to go. Big time response for Josh Jones, and what a time to hit your first bucket from the floor. The senior from Austin. And now the big rebound for Hatcher. He is flying to the ball. And the Pirates trying to get a little separation here. Hester taking his time, surveying the floor, gets it to Jones. Hatcher over to Lacey. Lacey keeps it, now back to Hester. Screen from Luchtefeld, what will it be? Hester driving, shooting. Rebound by Hatcher for the moment, loose ball. Everybody has a chance, what will it be? Jump ball is the call. The hustle is evident from both sides, and the ball will go to the Golden Tornadoes of Geneva. Rorik will check out in favor of Raychick.
Last couple of possessions, I've seen both teams try to drive and get a foul call. I don't know, even with all the fouls that have been called, I don't know that we're going to see the officials just handing out trips to the line down the stretch here. I think anybody that's going to drive in is going to have to actually finish their drive. Both of those for each team have kind of been pull-ups and, you know, hope that I get the call type of deal. I think you're going to have to drive hard all the way through if you want to trip to the line. So Lipton's going to carry this one across. Looks to be 100% all the way back now.
Trevor Tipton gets it to fellow younger brother. Now it'll be Trevor Tipton for 3. He gets it to go.
And now 3 of 8 from downtown for Trevor Tipton. He's brought the Golden Tornadoes within 1 here.
Luchtefeld in the center of the court. Hands it off to Hatcher, driving left, turning around. Right back to Luchtefeld, tries to post up. Nice, patiently waiting there for his opportunity.
And probably knowing that Raychick has 4 fouls, there's not much defense he's going to be able to do. And you saw him just kind of backing off and keeping the arms up. That's really the most defense he can do right now. So if you're Southwestern, kind of find that matchup again, because they don't want to lose him if they go to overtime.
Absolutely, and a very smart play to go to him. But Geneva gets it right back to within 1. The layup by Raychick. And we are under a minute to go here in San Antonio. Southwestern up by 1.
Raychick now in double figures with 11. He's out there with 4 fouls as well, so they're trying to look at that low block, see if they can get that matchup.
Lacey trying to turn the corner, gets it to Luchtefeld behind his back, and who will that foul be on?
Should be on Tipton.
Both Tiptons were there, so was Raychick. We'll look at the replay here. A great find by Lacey to Luchtefeld. You could argue that it could have gone against number 25. A timeout will be called here by Geneva. And the foul does go against Trevor Tipton, so that'll be his 3rd. Very important for Geneva to have both Raychicks back in there.
Yeah, and for Geneva, I mean, that's kind of the big thing. They can't lose their scorers, right? For you know the possibility, you know, they're hoping to be able to win this game in regulation, but if they were to have to play an extra 5 minutes here, you don't want to lose, you know, one of the 4 players that's done significant scoring for you. And so defensively, they're going to be giving up some of these shots. I wouldn't be surprised to see if we start getting into a offensive-defensive substitution type of situation here down the stretch with just 35 seconds to play. But conversely, for Southwestern, the only player they have in severe foul trouble is Hatcher. He's sitting on 4. Got a couple of guys with 3, but right now, I mean, just Raychick and Hatcher are really the only 2 that we have to worry about down the stretch, fouling out before we hit overtime at this point. But, yeah, I mean, fantastic for Southwestern to recognize that. And both possessions, they've at least driven it in. We talked about it early on. Their success came in the low block, and they had to find a way to get back to the low block. Once the low block was working, if they could get the defense to collapse down, then that would be able to free up some kick-out threes, and they've hit some of those today too. But all their success were really coming in from the low block, whether or not it's an easy look at the layup or if they're getting to the line. And left the field knocking down the one that puts them now ahead by 2.
And what a performance by Brock Luchtefield with that free throw, reaching a career-high 18 points. He'll stay right there as he misses the second, so the lead is 2. But the sophomore from the Woodlands has shown up today, averaging just 5 points this season, way, way over that. With just 24 seconds left now, what will Geneva go to? It is Raychick with the ball, drops it off to Massey. Trying to get it into the hands of a Tipton brother, perhaps. There is Lyle, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Lyle Tipton pulls up and drains the 3 to put Geneva up. 10 seconds to go. Southwestern going straight at it. Lacey trying to turn the corner up and good. Put Southwestern up by 1. And a timeout going to be called. Southwestern up by 1 with 4 seconds to go. What a finish we have here in San Antonio.
Yeah, fantastic response there by Lacey, realizing that he was going to have the drive penetration to the left. We've seen it from him 4 or 5 times today, and really good with the attacking left hand for Lacey. That was just left wide open for him. Big 3 here for Tipton. I was going to say you might want to try to take the last shot with about 4 seconds to go to prevent this type of thing, but Lacey scored so quickly, I don't even think that would have mattered. I think Southwestern would have had an excellent opportunity to look at it afterwards. So, you know, you've got to knock down the open look when you've got it. So Tipton did exactly what he needed to do. You know, and he's up to 28 points, sitting right at his average. And then just an excellent answer here from Lacey and Southwestern.
And amazing to see the trust that Coach Connor Kuykendall had in his team, not feeling the need to call a timeout after they fell behind, putting the ball in the hands of his players, and Sam Lacey rewarding him with the layup. So the final shot seemingly will come from Geneva if they can draw something up.
And remember, both teams go to the line, shoot 2 if they're fouled. So, you know, right now it doesn't necessarily mean that Geneva has to, you know, find the shot here. If they just get held trying to go for the ball, then they could be going back to the line.
And important to see that the ball does not advance in the college game, so even though the timeout was called, Geneva will have to bring it up all the way from the baseline. It'll be Mark Raychick inbounds it to Lyle Tipton. Lyle Tipton calls a timeout. Wow. With 0.7 seconds as he crossed half court. A gutsy decision there. Geneva wanting to get a shot closer to the basket, and Tipton just pulled up, called the timeout.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they haven't gone to the monitor yet. I wanted to see if maybe they would look at how much time was left when this timeout was called. We'd have to see the other angle to see the clock on the floor. But, yeah, I mean, there's not much. I don't even know. He comes across at half court right there, maybe 1.2, 1.0. Like, there's not much. And really, it's going to be a catch and shoot no matter what happens here. I kind of feel like maybe, I mean, you know, you don't want to necessarily say a mid-court heave is your best option, but it's going to have to be a turn and shoot. So if Southwestern can just play some solid defense right here, I think they've got a pretty good look at this.
And they're getting ready to send some length in there in the form of Steven Smith, number 41, the sophomore from Houston. Has not played a single second in this game, but he is 6'8", and if I were 6'8", I would also want to be out there to defend the ball.
Yeah, going to make it hard to put it in, and because right now Geneva's going to need a clear pass and look at this. They don't necessarily have to catch and shoot, but I don't know that you've got any time to kind of bobble the ball or anything else. So, and now the officials coming together. They haven't made any indication that they're going to go to the booth. Now they are going to the monitor. And so they'll take a look at it and see. Like I said, if anything, I think maybe they put 1.2 at the most for Geneva, because that's about the time when we saw Tipton start to make the timeout call. But if anything, I think it maybe just moves to 1 second, and that would be about it. But, that 0.3 of a second might be what Geneva needs to get the shot off. And they don't need a three. That's the important thing to remember here, too, because so many times in these situations it's the team needing a three, but right now they just, Southwestern has to defend the whole court. They can't just defend the perimeter. They have to defend everything down low, because if they let the back door come open in the paint, a layup wins this game for Geneva.
And I think something to keep an eye on, you have to imagine all eyes will be on Lyle Tipton. Maybe use him as a decoy on the perimeter and have a cutter towards the rim, because if it ends up being 0.7, you can kind of get an alley-oop type pass from the inbound and just lay it up off of the tip. If they do get 1.2, then you have a little bit more time for creativity, but still not much. But you see Coach Kuykendall right there with his 5 that will be on the court. Coach Santricero talking with his entire team while the officials look at it. The Geneva Golden Tornadoes coming into today 8-1. Only losing in conference to Chatham earlier in the year, but they have had a fantastic start to the campaign. Picked to finish second in the President's Athletic Conference and trying to come down to Texas for a key non-conference battle with Southwestern. Meanwhile, the Pirates have started 3-7, including 1-3 in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference, but they are showing the depth of the conference, and they were picked to finish 5th in the conference, but even the 5th-ranked team is giving one of the better teams from up in Pennsylvania a battle.
Yeah, and for Southwestern on this inbounds pass, anything that Smith can do to deflect it should almost guarantee a victory here for the Pirates, but he also has to be careful that he doesn't touch it, with a foot on the line or anything like that, and try to go from there. But officials have looked at the replay monitor, and they have gotten together. I wouldn't be surprised if they put 1 second on the clock, because when we saw the original replay, that seemed like that was something that they could do. I wouldn't put 1.2 back, because I felt like that was maybe too much of an advantage to Geneva, but I could see them saying 1 second. So they're making somebody in the crowd just said after review the game is over. So
I think it was Griffin Levine from Trinity men's basketball.
So it looks like, okay, 1.1. So right about what we thought. I thought 1.2 would have been the absolute most, and they're going to go with 1.1. So,
and as if that wasn't enough time to review while they were talking about it, we'll take another timeout.
All right, so I believe it was at 2:40 local time that I said the final 5 minutes of this game would take 30 minutes. Okay, we're at 20 minutes. So if this game goes to overtime, then I think I've hit it spot on. But other than that, 20 minutes to finish out the final 5 of this one. But it has been so enjoyable, and two teams really going back and forth. And I think we've gotten a great start here to the Leslie Robinson Classic. And just, hopefully the rest of these 3 games on the men's side are as fantastic as this one.
Absolutely. It has been a fun one, and it'll come down literally to the final second. 1.1 on the clock. Southwestern up 1. It'll be Massey sending it in to Lyle Tipton. He gets it off. Tipton, no good, and the Pirates get the win. You can clear the deck because they have won in San Antonio. upsetting the 8-1 Geneva Golden Tornadoes. You can't ask for a better look for Lyle Tipton, averaging 28 points a game, the second best scorer in the country. He had the look, he had the chance. You'll get a look at the replay. No one really around him, but he is just unable to hit it. And Southwestern gets a massive win for them and for the SCAC.
Yeah, it was a great play call for Geneva and a good look. I mean, as a shooter, that's really all you want at that moment is just a good look at it. Even if you're falling away or whatever else, it still probably feels very natural for him. And he had a fantastic game and just comes up a little bit short on that last one. And you see a couple of highlights here from earlier in the game as well. But Tipton, 28 points, 8 of 20 shooting, and 8 rebounds, kind of pushing Geneva. They fell behind 21-5 early. Really hard to kind of come back, but they were able to come all the way back, took the lead at times, but Southwestern using the low block there from Black and Lechtefeld, just too much. Lechtefeld 18 points, 6 boards. Hatcher 8 boards and 2 points, 7 points and 7 boards and 11 points for Black. 14 points from Hester. Southwestern, felt like just everybody contributed quite a bit to this. It was kind of a team win for the Pirates. They had a couple of standouts, but everybody playing such a vital role to pull this victory off.
Great start to the Leslie Robinson Christmas Classic and a final look at the two that brought it to you. So much fun to be back with you, Josh. I've missed getting to call the games with you, so thank you for joining me for what was a great start to the week. If you want more basketball, tune in at 6 p.m. tonight. It'll be Puget Sound against Mary Hardin Baylor. The women's team's getting some action tonight. And then for fans of these two teams, Geneva, you play Trinity tomorrow at 2 p.m. And Southwestern, you will go up against Wisconsin Stevens Point at 5 p.m. Of course, those are subject to change based on how the games are going, but those are the scheduled times. So we'll have it all for you here on Tiger Network. For Josh Munchigemba, I'm Brian Yanselson. See you later this week.